overturned or cut down, that the Browns didn't allow themselves to believe that more than they should have. And that's going to be something that Ray Farmer's going to have to answer for.
Let's talk about his representation for 1 minute, J-Rock. What bothers me a little bit,
I'm up against it.
Too,
Make it quick, LG.
This was a very close case. I mean, if you look at how Josh Gordon, one vial tested below the league requirements, the other bottle was nano.
But LG, it couldn't have been that close of a case because it was cut and dry, a 1-year suspension. I'm thinking if it was as close of a case as I'm just saying, we don't have all the details, and I just find it hard to believe.
What bothers me right now with his whole legal team, and you thought he presented a good argument because it took so darn long for this suspension to come down. If it was that cut and dry, J-Rock, why didn't they announce a decision in 2 days? But what I'm saying to you is they must not have a good argument, or Josh Gordon's legal team would be filing with the United States court system trying to get an injunction against the NFL.
Absolutely.
And you don't see that happening right now. So I'm inclined to agree with you. It couldn't have been a slam dunk that maybe these people thought it was going to be.
I agree, and that's why I want to pick up with Kendall when we come back on the other side of the break. I got to let you go.
All right, J-Rock, baby. You take care. Good luck tomorrow night. And
you too.
That Kirtland team's a tough team. You know, they got state championship power.
Defending state championships, absolutely. And Mike Bell rebuilding that Eastlake team coming over from Lake Catholic. We'll talk about that later. But I'm going to pick up where you said. We'll talk more about Josh Gordon with Kendall Lewis on the other side of the break. LG, my man, thank you from Cleveland Sports 360. Sit tight. When we come back, the BSK, Kendall Lewis, kicks things off. We're talking right where we were just at. Josh Gordon, the Browns, we'll pick up right there. We'll talk about tonight's game and so much more. The BSK, Kendall Lewis, up next, talking Browns, live on the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix, the show that asks the question,
what you talking about, Lou? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou?
We'll be right back.
Before we go to the break, guys, I want to talk to you just a second about our friends at GV Art and Design. Baseball's here once again. Cleveland, of course, excited, and GV Artwork teaming up with the Indians, and they're both going to knock it out of the park this season. And listen to some of the new designs they've got for Cleveland baseball fans everywhere. They've dug out an old classic, and they're bringing the heat with the new Wild Thing, Give 'em the Heater Ricky design. GV Artwork is teaming up with Cleveland fan favorite Michael Brantley and created a custom Dr. Smooth t-shirt. Plus, don't forget, they've got the Cleveland That I Glove collection, new tribal and Cleveland That I Love designs for women, and so much more. You can get GV Artwork designs on the website, gvartwork.com. And don't forget to use the sales code FIX10, that's FIX10, and you'll save 10% on your purchase. Or you can check out their new store in Lakewood on Detroit Avenue. Check them out in the Indians team shops and so much more. Cleveland That we all love, GV Art and Design. It's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
Hey, Sports Fix fans, I'm Fred McLeod, TV voice for the Cavaliers. When I'm not busy taking elbows from my buddy Austin Carr, I'm tuning in to see what the guys are saying.
Come on, Cavs!
Football season is party season at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Everyone wins at Harry Buffalo. Every Saturday is Coors Light College Football Saturday with $6 pitchers, 4 bottles for $10, and the Buckeyes in full HD. Football season is most definitely party season, and your headquarters is Harry Buffalo North Olmsted all winter long. Harry Buffalo, join the herd. Sports Fix listeners, like us on Facebook today. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Have you gotten your copy of Cleveland's Finest yet? Highlighting the best moments, players, and media members in Cleveland sports history?
He won it! Elo hit a three-pointer on the sideline!
In-depth personal interviews with some of the top names in Cleveland sports fill the pages of this incredible book. Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available now at Amazon.com. Get your copy today. Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, home of the low price tire guarantee. quicklane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix. Yeah, we're bad to the bone. I don't know about all the teams we talk about all the time, but we got it going on here on the Sports Fix. And you do too, because you're with us. So thanks for coming back with us here as we roll on the Sports Fix radio network across all of the platforms. Welcome back in, guys. J-Rock with you, getting ready to be joined on the phone lines by my man, the BSK Kendall Lewis. We're going to pick up right where we left off. You guys were on the phone lines already talking about Josh Gordon and that. You know, I agree. I see some guys in the chat room here, and really the argument gets split so much. I've said this throughout the months. By the way, we've known about this since before the Super Bowl, but it took the NFL this long. You can be mad at the NFL for that. I mean, but at the end of the day, even if their rules are jacked up and need to be switched around and punishments need to be changed, that could be very well true. But you live in the environment you live in, you know the rules that you play in, and at the end of the day, I saw it put best in the chat room, I think it was yesterday, when somebody said, hey man, if the sport that you play in says you can't eat broccoli, guess what? You can't eat broccoli, even if it's okay for the rest of the world to do it. Because at the end of the day, the thing that you do that makes you special, that makes you stand out, and that makes you rich has a rule that says you can't eat broccoli. I think that's the easiest way to sum it up because it takes all the moving parts out of it. Yeah, the NFL jacked the Browns around, and there's questions that should be answered there. I don't feel bad. The one I don't feel bad for is Josh Gordon at the end of the day. And the one I do feel bad for is the Browns fans at the end of the day, more than the organization, because Ray Farmer should have protected himself from this. He knew more than any of us, than anybody. He definitely had more information available than anybody else. So let's talk about all of that. You guys can't call. You can hit us up, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixCLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. And I'm going to go to the phones and be joined by my man, Kendall Lewis, the BSK. He's back on the Sports Fix today. Kendall, how you doing, my man?
Hey, what's up, D-Rock? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, you hear where we're at, Josh Gordon. I mean, you can go ahead and just take it however you want with that. Where are you at with the whole situation around Josh Gordon?
Really, the Browns, to cry and whine about the Browns having done wrong is really irrelevant. The whole thing is at Josh Gordon's feet. If he could control himself, if he knew how to behave, that would be a moot point. I don't care what they did, how they did it. Brown knew he was going to be suspended, and he didn't adequately, in my opinion, plan for that contingency. And so for us to sit here now and say, well, you know, the Browns got a raw deal. I heard Bill Livingston feels as though, you know, it was bad for the NFL to do it. I disagree with my I think as a broadcaster, as a father, as a husband, as a person, as Kendall Lewis, as the man my mother raised, I have responsibilities to myself, to my family, to those around me, to be becoming of a husband and a father and a friend, brother, and an uncle, and all of that. And so, whatever, I have responsibility and a heavy obligation to comport myself reasonably. And if I don't, there are going to be consequences. Unfortunately, in our world, young people don't understand. The biblical principle found that 6:7 was basically says you're going to reap the benefits or the consequences of it. So, I used to hear old people say when I was a kid, act in haste repent in leisure. And so I think this is a case of that. Now, the Browns are caught in the middle. They've done nothing wrong, except maybe if you want to go that way, they took a chance, man, who they thought could straighten his life out, and he still has to straighten his life out. Here's a thought I heard earlier today, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. Josh Gordon has been insulated by the Cleveland Browns to some degree. Imagine if Josh Gordon were not insulated by the Browns, by the money, by the trappings, by the fame, by the largesse of professional football in the National Football League. Suppose he weren't a millionaire. Suppose he didn't live in a great house, could buy the things he wanted for himself, his family. Imagine that he did not have those things. What would we be talking about? What would we be talking about? Well, we'd be probably talking about a young man spiraling, completely out of control. A young man who's on the news that they're looking for, maybe committing some crime, maybe, doing some dastardly deed. Those are the lower rung of our society who become involved in drugs and crimes and things of that nature. We don't know, but that's a possibility. I don't know this young man. I hear he's a nice man, but he has to get himself together. Basically, simply, that's what it's all about. So it isn't about the National Football League, nor is it about any punishment that they handed down in relation to another Ray Rice, getting it wrong, stalling, delaying, administering slow justice. It's not about that. It's about Josh Gordon not controlling his impulse and urges of a young man when he does not have attitude, because too many people are relying on him, most notably in this case, the Cleveland Browns.
And I'll tell you what, that going right along with that, something we talked about yesterday, I'm a bit disappointed. I'm sure you probably are too when you read the statement that Josh Gordon put out right afterwards, because even in the middle of his, attempt to apologize or whatever, he still made it very clear that he thought the NFL was wrong and that he was disappointed in them. I'm going, man, that's not the right way to start whatever happens next, man, because clearly you're still not getting whatever it is that they're, that, at the end of the day, it was like what I said. You know the rules of what you do, and you hit it perfectly. Because I love to make the jokes too about Ray Rice, but that's apples and oranges. That's not just because one person did something worse and didn't get a fair punishment has nothing to do with what another person did and what their punishment is. Even though it's easy to lump that all together. Yeah, it's easy when we look at it in the light of the NFL administers these punishments, but it really isn't, as has been pointed out many times over the last couple of days. This has been collectively bargained for. Yep. This penalties or these types of penalties. I think what needs to be addressed, if you want that way, the NFL's attitude toward marijuana. I mean, there are many guys who have came close to throwing their careers away because of Mary Jane. What did Rick James say? I'm in love with Mary Jane. She's my main thing. She makes me feel all right. She makes my heart sing. I don't know what kind of issue Josh Gordon has, because this isn't, of course, that this, and your listeners know that. This isn't the first verse he's had with the killer weed. Not at all. But he's not the first to have his career threatened. The last one of note, Tyrann Mathieu, almost lost his career before it got started at LSU. On that team, he's coming to the NFL. And I think the factors is Mathieu got mentoring Patrick Peterson, the best cornerback in the game, or one of them,
Joe Hayden, I have something to say about that. But one of the best cornerback athletes